Today's date is the 4th November 2014. This is Dibya and I'm going to conduct your speaking test. First of all, to help you settle down, I would like to ask you some questions about yourself. Can you first tell me your full name?
My full official name is Dibya Tanay as stated in the passport, but I would like you to call me Dibya.
Where are you from?
I live in Jamal Khan on the 3rd level of a 5-story building. Jamal Khan is actually a few minutes drive from here.
Alright. Are you a student or you're doing a job?
I'm a student. I'm currently doing my A levels and I'll be sitting for my A2 levels in May next year, that is 2015.
How many hours do you like to study?
Well, the number of hours I study typically varies. I prefer to study about 4 hours or 5 hours a day, not more than this, because it can become quite a stress on me. But during exam times, this number needs to go up, because if I want to cope with the pressures that exams put on me, then I usually study around 8 hours, and if it's a holiday, I study 4 to 5 hours in the morning and 4 to 5 hours at night.
At what age would you like to stop studying?
I would say I would never like to stop studying, because I do love learning a lot, and I think you can never stop learning, because once you stop learning, you stop living. So, but in terms of institutional education, I would like to go up to a PhD at least before I move to the job sector.
Okay, let's talk about taking photographs. How often do you take photographs?
I don't take photographs very often, but I have many members in my family who like to take photographs often, and I usually am the cameraman for these people.
Why do people take photographs?
The main reason that people take photographs is to keep a record of a memorable event, or simply to take pictures of someone important or something special, so that you can refer to them at a later time when maybe you feel lonely, or maybe you'd like to recall your memories. So pictures help you do just that.
Do you like being in photographs?
Well, as I've already said, I don't really like being in photographs, and I have my reasons for not liking this. Firstly, I really cannot bring up that artificial smile that you often expect to see on photographs. So that's one reason why I don't like being in
What's your
photographs.
favorite photograph?
Let's see. I do have a lot of favorite photographs, and I'd say my most favorite photograph would be a picture of my entire family, including my grandparents and my parents, taken on a special date, which was the 1/11/2011, all ones, that is. Since there's everyone in this photograph, and everyone at that time was very happy about the entire day, and the year itself was very good. It reminds me of good times, and I often like to keep that photograph in my bag whenever I go outside home.
Okay, let's talk about your sleep. How many hours a night do you sleep?
Well, I generally try to sleep about 6 to 7 hours every night, and because that's the recommended number of hours of sleep for any people of my age. But sometimes the hours of sleep can get less, especially during times of exam, where I may have to manage with 5 hours or sometimes even less of sleep.
How many hours sleep a night do you think people need?
I think to remain physically fit and well, you should sleep at least 6 to 7 hours for adults, and for children, they must sleep a longer period of time, say 10 hours. Because I have experienced it myself, not sleeping enough can be detrimental to your activities the next day, and I found that sleeping 6 to 7 hours per day keeps me fit and keeps me energized for the next day.
Do you ever find it difficult to fall asleep?
No, I've never had any difficulty falling asleep. In fact, I always fall asleep as soon as I go to bed. Maybe it's because I am often tired when I go to bed, and my mother says I fall asleep within 1 minute or so, and I sleep like a log. But There are certain times when I have difficulty sleeping, and that's usually before exams, and I've experienced that quite a number of times.
Do you think it's a good idea to have a short sleep during the day?
Well, I think it's a great idea to have a short sleep during the day, especially during the afternoons, and I like taking the afternoon nap. Usually when I don't take the afternoon naps, I feel drowsy in the evenings, and many of my important activities in the evenings may be hampered if I don't take this regular nap.
Well, thank you very much. Now I'm going to give you a card, and the card will find a topic, and you'll also find some guiding questions. Based on that, you have to prepare a talk for 1 minute, and you have 1 minute time to take notes. Here's a piece of paper to take notes. Would you like to start now?
Yeah, sure. The memorable journey that I'd like to talk about would be my journey from Kolkata to Darjeeling. I have been fortunate enough to have had many of these journeys, many of these vacations in my life, but this was a very memorable journey that I'd like to describe today. We were going to Kolkata. We had gone to Kolkata to visit our relatives during the holidays of Durga Puja, and it was in late October 3 years ago, which is in 2011. So we decided we should take a train journey from Kolkata to Darjeeling, which is located about 4 hours by train from Kolkata, and the journey lasted a little more than 4 hours, the actual journey. The train journey from Kolkata to Darjeeling was a very pleasant one. Firstly, the trains themselves were very different from the ones that we are normally used to. The trains were well decorated and they seemed brand new, and there was that that old Western look on these trains, which really made it very exciting to travel on. During the journey, when we had come very close to Darjeeling, I witnessed snow for the first time. Although it was an unusual time for the year to snow, but that particular year it was getting very cold in Darjeeling, and the temperatures had already dropped below zero. So it was snowing there, and this was the first time in my life that I had experienced snow. So that was a great journey, and that's why it remains memorable to me for a long time.
All right, thank you very much. Let's talk about changes in traveling. What's the best way to travel around your country?
I'd say the best way to travel around my country would be by rail. Firstly, although it's easier and faster to travel by air, we don't have a large number of airports in our country. In fact, very few, only 4 to 5 airports in my country. So it's not possible to go everywhere by air, and neither is it very comfortable to go by waterway. So trains provide a much more easier and safer way to travel from one place to another, and there's also a good railway network. And although there are a few disruptions at times, but those are very minor, and it's very easy to travel and also very comfortable by train.
Could you compare now? Could you compare how people travel today with how they used to travel 50 years ago?
Well, definitely. The major a change in traveling modes that have occurred over these 50 years would be the emergence of air travel and the widespread accessibility of that. Most people nowadays prefer to use air travel when they travel outside their countries, because that's become the fastest and most reasonable way to travel outside. 50 years ago, at least in Bangladesh, there weren't many airports. I think there weren't official airports at all. So in that time, people mostly relied on train services, and there were also a number of other transport means like bus services, which were very common, ship as well, boats, because Bangladesh is a riverine country.
So what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of being able to travel around the world so easily nowadays?
The advantages of being able to travel easily around the world are obvious. With greater accessibility, people can now commute more freely from one place to another, and they can, for example, businesses can operate in more than one country, and they can expand their organizations. And if you think of normal everyday travelers, it allows them, for example, to take a great vacation in another country, or even to go to study abroad easily in a good university and get a good education. And a disadvantage of this ease of travel would be that it's also very easy for criminals and people who are escaping from the law to move from one place to another, and they might actually find it very easy to escape the country where they have performed that illegal action.
Do you feel that globalization of big business is a good or bad thing for the world?
I think globalization of big businesses is a great thing for the world. Firstly, not all services and not all products are available in all places. There are certain products which are localized and specialized for different regions, and but people in other countries and other regions might need these products as well. So I think globalization has provided people a means to get access to most of the products they want nowadays. And another good aspect of globalization is that it increases healthy competition among different organizations, because with international businesses competing with local businesses, both of them will be inspired to provide good services at reasonable rates, and there's also a lesser possibility of customers being tricked or being deceived into paying unexplainable prices.
Do you think flying is justified when you take into account how much pollution it produces?
Flying does produce pollution, and it has come up in a lot of recent studies, because most airlines use jet fuel, which is a type of fossil fuel. But I don't think the pollution effects of flying are very significant when we take into account the pollution effects from other sectors, such as the industries and factories. If we were to curb the pollution from flying, then we would have very little to do other than reduce the number of flights or even stop some flights, and this would be a great negative impact on the worldwide communication system as a whole. So I don't think pollution effects from flying are very significant, and I think they're quite justified for the benefits they provide.
Okay, thank you very much. Your test is over.
Okay.